We are getting 2 brand new Battlecruisers as part of the new EVE Online expansion, and while they look cool and have an even cooler looking skin, there's one question that needs to be answered. Are they actually any good? And we're going to answer that question today, because while one of them is maybe just a minor upgrade, the other may be a whole new meta-defying ship that will be used for a long time to come. So let's get right into it. But playing EVE alone sucks. So if you want to take part in an awesome community, fly fun ships, make some dank-isk, and have genuinely a good time with constantly people around you to hang out with. So come and join Suspect today and fight under the banner of our great supreme leader, me. So come and join our Discord today. Anyway, on with the video. The 2 ships we are getting are the Khizrel and the Alligator. Both are available from the LP store in Zarzek, which you can access if you join either the Guristas or the Angel Cartel in the Insurgency menu, which works basically the same as Faction Warfare, but you need at least -2 standing with the Pirate Faction question, and you can get then those LP by doing Faction Warfare sites for those Pirate Factions in Insurgency systems, which you can all neatly reach from Zarzek. With those LP, you can then buy yourself blueprints for those 2 ships, and while the LP cost is actually not high at all, their material cost on the other hand is roughly 400 million per ship, making them quite a sum for a battlecruiser. However, each of them fills a separate role and is good at something else, so we will have to look at both separately and what they do. However, I also put timestamps in the video description, as well as the fittings that I made for them if you want to check them out for yourself in the video description as well. So first, let's talk about the Khizrel, the new Angel Cartel battlecruiser, which not only has an amazing unique design, but at first glance also looks very much like a Hurricane with 1 more low slot and 1 more mid slot, with a very cool skin to it, so it is only fair to compare it to its 2 very distant step cousins. When comparing the 2 Hurricanes to the Khizrel in regards of mobility, the Khizrel has a higher base speed, a faster warp speed and also a faster line time than either of those 2, making it by far the fastest battlecruiser in the game, giving it clearly an edge in mobility, winning in all 3 categories that we can compare it in when it comes to mobility. When it comes to tank, the Hurricane fleet issue gets about 82.5k tank without links, as well as the standard shield resist profile, meaning you have to deal with an EM resist hole. The normal Hurricane has the same resist profile, but only 62.2k EHP and a slightly lower resist profile. But the Khizrel, once more, has 102k EHP, putting it to the clear number 1 spot here, with maybe the same resist but 1 more mid slot, simply allowing for either more tank, or perhaps, if you want that, versatility, depending on how you want to fit it. But I doubt anyone wants to use it purely to be beaten up with, and you want to rather use it to fight with it. And we will compare all 3 of them using a typical artillery fit to have a benchmark. Obviously, the same applies to artillery that also applies to autocannons, and autocannons are in fact very awesome, so don't overlook them please. If you look at the damage, this is clearly where this ship shines. When it comes to damage per hit, it may be closer to the Hurricane than the Hurricane fleet issue, and DPS wise it is basically tied with both of them. But there's one thing where it simply outshines either of them, and that is range. With 60 km range for Quake and 123 km range for Tremor, it outranges both of them by quite a bit, but especially at close range it has a significant advantage, and that is an advantage you can make use of. And that is also clearly what this ship is. With the blueprint costing 40k LP and the ship being around 450 million to build, all things considered, this ship will most likely fit nicely into a medium-sized PvP gang, and will fit exactly that role very well as a faster, stronger Hurricane with a lot more range. But on a larger scale it may simply be too expensive, but for PvP it is very much a good ship. And especially at closer ranges you can make use of the higher fall of range for your close range ammo. And if you like the Hurricane, you will most likely like the stronger Hurricane too, regardless if you want to fly it in a 1k DPS shredder mode with autocannons or artillery for even more range. The extra range is simply a huge benefit and allows you to do things that the Hurricane simply can't. But this brings me to the other battlecruiser, the Alligator. Is it a brick? Is it a Gila? Is it a Drake? Well, kinda all 3 of them, to be honest. It is a very slow, very tanky, very drone-line battlecruiser that does the same drone damage as a Gila, has a better tank than a Drake Navy issue, however also inherits its very much only sickness, it is being incredibly slow. With the same cost as a Khizrel, it is not a bad ship and may be a good option for PvE as an alpha, thanks to its very high tank and option to use it as an alpha with very high drone damage because of its base stats. It may also be good as a slow defensive ship, but it is on the slow side, and it very much is so at the slow side. All in all, with the fit I have right here, you're looking at a whopping 138.9k EHP with no links, 755 DPS with heavy missiles, going out to 47 kilometers, and a rather disappointing speed, but speed is clearly not a strong suit, so you shouldn't rely on it. What you should however rely on is its incredible drones and its incredible tank, allowing you to kill a lot of smaller stuff, and also not be killed so easily yourself, as this tank might be more reminiscent of a battleship rather than a battlecruiser. And like I said before, you can find the fit in the video description just like the Khizrel fit as well. Comparatively to a Drake Navy Shinta Drake, the Alligator has far more tank and also far more DPS, but is drone reliant, and that is for PvP its one weakness. Because once your enemy finds out that you use drones, they might as well just use smart bombs to kill your drones, but until that is the case, you can use the chip very much for PvP. And thanks to the drones having a lot more HP, maybe it's not so vulnerable to smart bombs after all. But it still has a ton of tank and good DPS. But clearly it's not as good for roams as a Khizrel because it's simply slower. All in all, both of the ships being added are good additions to the game. And with the new pirate combat sites as well as the LP store in Zarzek, they should be some good option to pick. Especially if you like the Gila or the Hurricane, as they are both basically straight upgrades. And might also be good options for newer groups in the game, if they want to live out of Zarzek due to its lower production cost over there. But what do you think about those ships? Is almost 500 million for those hulls too much for you? Will you still use normal hulls? Or are you going to give those new ships a chance? Tell me what you think in the comments, I'm actually very curious about it. However, this is all from me, and if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. And also a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters who allow me to make this content. Anyway, I hope to see you next time.